Do you like horror? Do you like the 80s? Do you like horror in the 80s? Then you'll love In Search of Darkness. It's a 4-hour plus epic retrospective on 80s horror. This critically acclaimed documentary features an incredible lineup of horror legends, including John Carpenter, Doug Bradley, Tom Atkins, even Elvira, Corey Taylor, and of course, Lloyd Kaufman. Oh, and there's even an interview with this one nerd, James. I think The Shining is probably the best performance in any horror film, maybe ever.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Click the link in the description to pre-order your copy today, and you can get your name in the credits, along with a poster, pin, postcard, and digital download of the film. But act fast because it's only available until midnight, the witching hour on Halloween.
All right.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So Hereditary.
Wow.
Back up last year, I told you that Haunting Hill House was the scariest thing I've seen in a while, and I recommended to you. And then you said that Hereditary was the scariest thing you've seen in years and recommended to me. And holy shit, you were right. This movie is horrifying.
Yeah, and like it came out a little while ago, like maybe a year or so.
2018,
and,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, oh man, we should have done it like sooner. But hey,
yeah,
we're talking about movies way older than this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I was like, this movie needs to get some.
Yeah, you like really hyped it. You were telling me like you apparently had nightmares for the first time. And
I had nightmares for the first time.
Yeah.
In 30-something years.
Yeah.
Over a horror film.
And you know what? I really like horror in the last few years. They've gotten like really good at being really, really scary and stuff. But this is a horror movie that's really stuck with me. Like it gets in your goddamn head.
Yeah, this movie fucked me up.
Yeah.
Like this you know, it's a bold statement, and everybody always asks, "Oh, what's the scariest movie you ever seen?" And I never had an answer. I was always like, I don't know. I mean, like everybody says The Exorcist, but I don't think The Exorcist is that scary. I didn't think The Babadook was scary. Like I
liked Babadook, but yeah, I can agree. There were scary parts in. By the way, it also depends on what you're scared of, like how old you are, because certain things are scarier than others.
Yeah, but after all that time, I finally have an answer. Hereditary is the scariest movie I have ever seen.
It's pretty terrifying, and it's a new director. I think him, along with Mike Flanagan, whoever directed The Witch, I think they're the best names in horror going right now.
I think so, yeah. Jordan Peele also.
Jordan Peele, yeah. I didn't see Us, but I like Get Out.
It's good. Yeah, The Twilight Zone.
What's it called? Did I sent you his short film from college? Did you have time to watch that? It's so disturbing. I can't even say what the plot of it is on this show.
Oh yeah, no spoilers until the end. We will have a spoiler section.
So this director started This director started his career with dark material, and then he got a Hollywood movie, and he just went even darker. And recently he did Midsummer, which is a little bit more comedic. Yeah. But anyway, Hereditary.
I woke up screaming in my bed in the middle of the night. And
I was terrified to go to sleep.
Yeah.
That rarely happens where I'm just scared to go to sleep.
Like, I wasn't really, like, okay, watching this, it was like, you know, it was right before bed, and you know, the room's dark, and like, there was like some heavy wind outside, too, so it was like the perfect atmosphere. There was a gate outside that kept slamming, and I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot to shut that. And it just kept, the wind kept slamming it, like, at like, unpredictable moments, would just be like, psh, and I'm just like, okay, I should go out there and shut that. And then I go to the window and be like, yeah, it's pretty dark out there. And because there's parts in this movie where, like, especially as it goes on, the lighting seems to get dimmer.
Oh, yeah. It does this thing where if you ever woken up in the middle of the night and you can't see, and you know how your eyes adjust to the darkness? The movie recreates that feeling so well, because there's stuff in... Like Haunting a Hill House, like there's stuff in the background.
Yeah.
But this one, you're like, you start to realize, you're like, oh god, there's someone over there.
Yeah, like things start to appear, and you can't watch this in the day. Don't try. Watch it. I mean, okay, look, if you don't want to be freaked out of your mind, then no, don't watch it at night. Yeah. But if you want to get freaked out, watch this at night.
Yeah.
The room has to be dark.
Yes.
So while that whole thing was going on, I just felt so immersed in what was going on. And then after it was over, I just went to bed thinking like, oh, wow, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
And then waking from that nightmare, and then my wife said, no more scary movies. And it was like the last time somebody ever said, no more scary movies, was like my mom back in the 80s.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid. And I'm like, that is awesome. I got scared by a horror movie.
Yeah.
Finally.
Also, we have not mentioned the story at all, so let's go into that. So I
guess. Yeah.
I didn't know what, based on the trailer, I didn't really know what this was going to be. It starts...
Yeah.
It starts off, Toni Collette, her mother has just died. And then she's at a funeral full of people she doesn't recognize, which is like kind of an early clue. And basically, like, Toni Collette goes to like a grieving, like a group grieving thing, and tells her whole life story. And that alone is just terrifying to hear. Like, she's just like, oh, I had the worst existence ever.
Yeah, it's basically like, it starts like a family tragedy. It doesn't start like any kind of like, and I really think from that point on, the less said, the better. Like, it starts to turn into a horror film, but it begins as just this, like, almost like a family, not a family movie, a drama about a family going through a tragedy. From this point on, I think you've heard our overall thoughts. It's like, this is this really well done, terrifying movie that if you want to be scared, freaked out, watch this. From this point on, I think we're going to talk more plot details, but I'd recommend just stopping the video, going to see the movie if you have not seen it. So from this point on, spoiler alerts.
Yes. Okay, so early on you realized that the daughter, Toni Collette's daughter, had a really, I don't remember any of their actual names, but Toni Collette's daughter had like a really good bond with the grandmother who recently died.
The girl's name, Charlie.
Charlie was the name of the girl. Okay, right.
Which, there's a reason, I think, for her name Charlie.
Which we'll get to.
Which there are girls named Charlie, but it's not as common. It's mostly like a boy's name. There's a reason, I think.
There's definitely a reason. So she gets like weird. She has like these visions, and she starts like cutting the heads off of dead animals and stuff. She's very weird. And then there's a son who looks nothing like the dad or the parents. Looks completely different than them. So I think there's maybe something that was cut out there. I don't think the dad in the movie was really his dad. I think.
It's a good repeat watch movie.
You have to watch this more than once because you'll pick up on stuff.
I mean, after the first time, you'll be so disturbed by it, you won't want to see it.
It took me a while to rewatch it. It took me a while to rewatch it.
Yeah, I only did it for this video. I was like, oh, I gotta look at it again. And as I was looking through it a second time, I was like, oh wow, there's like all these little clues and stuff.
So the son gets invited to a party. And the mom makes him take the daughter because she like needs to socialize because all she did was hang out with her creepy grandmother.
I'm just feeling sad thinking about it now.
Yeah,
like, you're just like...
until the very end when you realize, oh, it wasn't that bad. So he takes the daughter to the party.
This is where the movie starts.
Yeah. On the way there, they drive past a telephone pole that has a symbol carved into it.
Yeah, and that's a second watching type of thing.
So he takes his sister to the party. He's like getting high. She eats something with peanuts and she's allergic. So he's got to like drive her to the hospital because she's like freaking out. I guess they don't have the EpiPen. So in order to get air, she sticks her head out of the car and he swerves and then her goddamn head comes off. So at which point...
But you do not see it happen right away. I mean, they do show later on a decapitated head, but the thing is, they make this so disturbing by showing nothing.
They like, if you ever read about people who went into shock, like, this is a good, like... Yeah. Because, like...
Because he goes into denial.
Right away into denial, like he can't fit, like...
He doesn't even look back. He just keeps
He almost does, and he stops.
Yeah.
And then he drives home, and then it's...
He goes to bed hoping it's like...
He hoping it's a dream.
Probably, yeah. And then go ahead.
Oh my god. And then you hear Toni Collette find the girl's body and scream.
Well, you just see the kid waking up and you hear her scream and you know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
A mother comes out to find her decapitated daughter in a car.
Yeah.
And can you imagine...
Yeah,
it's fucking horrible.
So you're already imagining, and then they, just to add on, they cut to the goddamn head covered in ants and
just
stuff.
to confirm it. But but even without that, like I think that showing the head was the least bothersome part. I think the most bothersome part was just hearing her scream. Yeah, and she's still screaming when it comes to the funeral,
especially if you've ever heard someone do those screams in person. I don't know if you have. I have.
I mean, I've been in a hospital and things like that.
Yeah, I've known like family where I've been there when they've gotten news and stuff, and like Toni Collette. I don't know how she wasn't. I mean, I don't give a shit about the Oscars, but just the awards in general, she should have been nominated for something.
Oh my god, her acting is just off the charts.
She's always been a great actress, but like especially this, like how she reacted to this, I'm like, that is spot on. It's stuck in my head. I couldn't get her screams out of my head because it was so organic.
My wife was watching this with me. Yeah. After that part, she had to leave the room.
Here's another thing. I usually don't say like, you know, like warning, whatever. Yeah. I would give like a mother a heads up. Yeah. Like someone who like has kids or wants kids, give them a heads up. Like, hey, maybe this isn't the one for you. Yeah. Maybe that's just because I'm getting older and I'm thinking of things, but I'm just like...
it's true. It's like that. Yeah. This is the most disturbing death I think I've ever seen in any film because it really feels real.
I know, because like I remember like, I think my girlfriend recommended to her sister-in-law this movie and she was pregnant. I'm like, let's wait a couple years before you let her watch that movie. Let's wait. So the one thing about the screaming though, I do think it kind of goes on a little too long. And it reminds me of Kung Pao Enter the Fist, where the girl's crying and then it transitions to another scene and you hear her crying still in the background. So that one took me out of it.
Well, I think Kung Pao Enter the Fist will come up in Hereditary. All right, we got to do a rental review sometime.
So as the movie goes on, she's dead. So the mom's like suffering with loss and grief. The son is going through like a ton of guilt. The dad we'll get to. I want to get to the dad at the end. I got a fan theory about him. So she like meets this older lady who like wants to do like a grief counselor lady. And she's like, oh, I did a seance. We brought a person back to life. And then she's like, oh, okay. So she does it and like turns out it works. And like throughout the movie, she sees like visions of her mother and stuff. Like, remember she goes in the light, and she goes in the room, you see her mother, like, waving, and then she turns the light on, she disappears. Also fucking terrifying. Yeah. So she thinks that she is now a medium. So she does this whole spell to contact Charlie, and, like, it like, works, but then it scares everyone, and then as it goes on...
This is all probably, like, an hour into the movie still, so, like...
As it goes on, you realize, oh, her grandmother was in a cult. A satanic cult. And there's warning signs everywhere. Like the symbol is one of the warnings. What you call it? The house. There's these like little Latin words written all over the house.
It's almost, if you want to like explain how the cult works, it's almost like you have to explain it in order of how it happened, not how the movie shows it to you. Yes. It's kind of like they were trying to like this demon king or whatever, Paimon. They're trying to like bring back. It's basically its soul still exists. They need a body for it to go into, and they start with the girl Charlie, but they want it to be a boy. Like it was for some reason because Paimon can't go into a girl's body because Paimon was a man. So
he can, but it says like he like prefers a male body. He gets very very angry if he's not in the male body.
So I think Charlie was never actually Charlie. She was Paimon all like the whole time,
which makes the death scene like not that big of a deal later on.
But then after that, they needed that to happen so that the soul could get free again, I guess. And now they're going to put it into the boy. But they skipped over him because at that time the mom wasn't with the grandmother. Like the grandmother was like they had a falling out or something. So all along the boy was supposed to be the host.
And the grandmother thought, like, oh, I'll put it in this new baby, not realizing what the gender of the baby was yet. Yeah. So it was like, oh, no, I messed up.
And she might have had the name Charlie picked out before or something. Yeah. It was like, you know.
Yeah, and they show, like so we got to talk about the dollhouses.
Yeah, so the mother she works in, like, building, her job is, like, building these, like, miniatures, like, these houses, which I don't think they ever really tell you what they're for.
I think it's either for like an architect thing or like an art exhibit thing, but the movie begins with the camera going into a dollhouse and the movie starts. Yeah. And that whole thing is, it's supposed to be the idea of fate, which they talk about in the kids' class, where like basically this is the family's fate. They have no control over it. There are outside forces.
Because every like room in this house is designed to look like something that happens later or something that had happened.
Yeah.
So it all like even the final shot of the movie is framed like it's in one of those miniatures. So.
And they're like, you find out like the crazy nice lady who turns out to be a cult member, when they show her apartment empty, they have a little diorama that shows what the end of the movie. So like that's part of the tragedy of this movie is like there's no way to survive this. This is their fate. They're stuck in this.
And that's all watching a second time, you notice like the objects in the rooms, you know, have something to do. Like there's so many little details, like
the little glimmer of light is like the demon. There's like a little glimmer of light that can kind of go around.
Yeah, and that symbol, which you mentioned on the telephone pole, like you start noticing that symbol's everywhere. And then the guy who appears as like the naked guy in the doorway. Oh, he was at the funeral. When I first watched it, I'm like, that guy's fucked. I know there's something weird with that guy. So basically, you find out that the dad knew that the grandmother's body was like removed from the cemetery, and it turns out it was in their attic since the cemetery. So the mom tries to like burn like a book or something to get rid of these spirits. It was Charlie's note or sketch pad.
Yes. She goes to burn it, which ends up getting her husband lit on fire.
Because then he doesn't believe her, and then he throws it in the fire, and then he burns up.
Yeah, and then she basically just gets possessed by the demon. And then eventually it just ends with them trying to get the son. Like, everyone's going after the son. And
like the part that bugged me out was like, okay, it was like mentioned, you know, already the naked guy in the doorway when he just kind of appears there and he's like smiling. And like, wow, that's fucked up. And then when the mother is chasing him up into the attic, and then that scene where she grabs onto the attic and she's banging her head
like a woodpecker. Oh my god, that was so creepy.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of that scene, if when they show the house go from day to night, you see that there's naked cult members. Like you don't notice them right away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all those hidden things, like in Haunting a Hill House. There's like a scene where there's one scene where there's like somebody just standing like point blank right behind him, and you don't see it at first. And also the mother is like Spider-Man up on the ceiling.
Somehow she gets into the attic and she cuts her own head off.
Oh yeah, and she's just doing that. Freaked me out too when she's doing that thing.
And then it the son tries to kill himself, but that just lets the demon into him. Yeah. And then he goes into the little girl's tree house where there's like this whole like ceremony where they say like, "You're King Paimon."
Hail Paimon!
And that's Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, it loses me right at the end. Because it's so, like, by the way, the beheaded mom's corpse floating really creeped me out. It's like the reverse of Mystics in Bali, where it's like a body floating without a head instead of a head floating without a body.
Yeah.
So it's real creepy. Then he goes up, and then, like, the decapitated corpses are bowing.
Yeah.
And then they switch, and his sister's head... It's really terrifying, and I'm like, and then you hear the old lady. She's like, "Give us riches, give us good familiars," and I'm like, "This is creepy." And then they all start chanting, and I'm like, "Oh, Rosemary's Baby."
Hail Paimon!
Like the movie felt so fresh up until that 1 second, but it was just the last second.
If you would like, if you had spoiled this movie by just showing those scenes at the end, those that we mentioned are really creepy, like the woodpecker bang and the headless bodies, and I would have been like, okay, well, it's kind of creepy, but I wouldn't have thought it was that crazy. But seeing the movie and going through the whole experience, I think after the family tragedy stuff and then the seance stuff, and then the movie just psychologically breaks you down. So by the time you get to that last scene, you're just so vulnerable. And it's done so well.
And then it ends with the song "Both Sides Now." I've seen clouds from both sides now.
I thought that was weird.
There's a reason for it, but
okay.
But they used the original version of that song. I would have preferred the Neil Diamond cover of that song, which is why I'm wearing the shirt.
All right.
Okay. But so do you want to hear my stupid fan theory?
Okay.
I need to grab some props real quick.
Go for it. While you're doing that, I just want to mention the music is also a big part of it. The score just drills into your brain. Like, I thought this was one of the most effective scores I've heard in a film in a while.
The music is really, really good. So the dad, he's kind of confusing in the movie. He doesn't really talk much. He doesn't seem affected by everything. And like early on, I thought, oh, is he involved in this or something? Is like he one of the bad guys? What did you think about him? Like the Gabriel Byrne character?
The dad?
Yeah, the dad. Because he seems kind of checked out during a lot of it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought he had nothing to do with any of that. Like, I thought he had just, because he throws the sketch pad in the fire and like all that, so...
But before that, like, even when, like, the daughter died, you never see him mourning or anything. So I thought he might be involved. It turns out this movie was a lot longer.
Oh,
it was originally, they cut a lot out. Like, it was going to slowly build up to the supernatural stuff. Someone told me that his background is that he was the mom's psychiatrist and fell in love with her and then had a kid. So I think that's why he's not mourning as much, because maybe he's, like, used to it and stuff. But before I knew that, I came up with a fan theory, James. So you know how they said there's 8 kings of hell, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, oh, what if the dad is the devil from End of Days? Because he played the devil in End of Days. So as a punishment for not starting the apocalypse and getting outsmarted by Arnold Schwarzenegger, hell kicked him out and made him a tugboat captain in the movie Ghost Ship.
Oh, wow.
But then he interfered with a demon trying to harvest souls, and the demon killed him. And then hell kicked him out and made him marry into the worst family in Hereditary, where he gets screwed over by another demon. So this is the Gabriel Byrne demonic Satan expanded universe.
Wow.
Director Ari Aster, let me know if this is true, or tell me to fuck off. You're probably going to tell me the second one.
Wow.
But yeah, any final words on Hereditary?
No, it's good. It's good.
And keep a lookout for the director. Midsummer, you're definitely wanting to see Midsummer when it's on video.
I want to see it, yeah.
Small review, it was the best theater experience I had all year long. I will never be able to relive that crazy experience.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I won't be able to live the theater experience.
We'll watch it together.
Okay, all right.
And watch the director's original film, The Strange Thing About the Johnson Family. Again, the subject matter is so dark, I can't even tell you what it's about. But yeah, check out Hereditary also.